Get off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports Radio Station, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Tiki Live, Rumble, Podchaser, Streaker, Spreaker, and more. Why so many places? Because I want to maximize my splatter zone for more hope and happiness and balance out all the bad news out there with some good news, good people, good series, and good guests. And today is no exception. Today on Straight Talk with myself and
James Hawthorn.
We're having a special guest this morning. Her name is Pilar Carrington. She's the woman about town. She's a casting agent. She is just a very much a delight that I met at James's 40th birthday party. That was amazing. And I just love the way I not accidentally meet the people that are going to be a chapter in my life journey at different events where you're not expecting anything to necessarily happen except to celebrate James's birthday. So please welcome to our show, Pilar Carrington.
Well, good to see you.
That was the applause button, just so you know.
I love that. I love that. Can we have more, please?
All right. And before we get started into the topic, which is going to be a really fun one, to swipe or not to swipe, that is the question this morning. I want to start every show the same way we have been for the last 3 years with breakfast. And we're going to have breakfast with my co-host, James Hawthorn, and special guest, Pilar Carrington. And that constitutes, I didn't warn you about this on purpose, so you can't prepare. And and it's taking a bite of James's butt. No, just kidding. Taking a bite of our gratitude sandwich. So the top of the bun is what are we grateful for that is outside of ourselves. The bottom of the bun, because I like it on the bottom, is for the gratitude inside of ourselves, or the appreciation we have for something about us, so that we're not walking around all the time looking for love or likes, literally, on social media for the wrong reasons. So it's affirming that we do like ourselves 88% of the time. So here we go. What are you grateful for, James? Actor.
First of all, I'll tell you what, this is an easy one. I'm grateful for the woman on my right, or I guess the audience is left, depending on how they're watching it. She is the absolute best in terms of, I've been doing this acting racket for about 14, 15 years. Me. Well, I'm grateful for you, of course, but since you have a special guest, I'm gonna throw her some morning glory and just say that I've been in this racket for a long time, and there've been many years where I'm like, all right, I'm gonna quit this year unless because it's a racket. And since I've been with Pilar and Pierre, my other agent, I have gone out for more auditions and had more fun doing this than ever. And I think, like you, Dr. Marissa, Pilar does not sleep because she gets me out all the time for great auditions, and it allows me to have fun and affirm that, yes, I'm doing what I love to do, and I get to do it because she's working so hard to get me those opportunities, and she's always got my back, and I'm very, very, very grateful for that.
Awesome. I'm grateful for the infinity jacuzzi that I have in my building. so that I can put those jets on some shoulder. I am #ageless, but my body is not believing me lately. So I am grateful for that this morning. I tagged you guys. You probably didn't see it yet, but you will. That was our promo, was from the Infinity Jacuzzi this morning.
Ooh.
That is very cool. That is
What are you grateful for, Pilar?
I am actually really grateful. I get to do what I'm passionate about every day. It's a gift and a blessing, and I'm very much into it. So it's provided me with a lot of great opportunities to meet wonderful people like yourselves, and I get to do really fun things that a lot of people don't get to do. So for me, it's an opportunity to have gratitude, to open the door for others, which is always my pleasure. And it's that thing when you're a kid. It's like, when I grow up, I want to fill in the blank. Well, I filled in the blank, and it's amazing, and I'm really grateful for that.
Awesome. All right, let's go to the bottom of the bun, which is what do you like about yourself? I believe that self-care, self-soothing, self-esteem is the foundation of good mental health. And although most of us were raised, you're not all that, or don't toot your own horn. In Chinese, there's an actual saying that the nail that stands up is hammered down. So it's maybe not a strong muscle in your repertoire. And that's why we do this on the show. So tonight, when you go to bed, you're going to remember that Dr. Marissa asked you to isolate one or two things that you do like about yourself. So, James, what do you like about yourself?
This comes from my softball team, actually. The team was going to dissolve. It's the longest running team in Santa Monica Adult Sports League, D-League softball, basically, grown men being boys. And it was going to dissolve unless I was the manager. And I said, well, we can't let the team go. I'll manage it. And I like that I was able to get our whole collection of players to have like the most fun season ever. And I think that came from the ability to just let people be who they are. And I am a recovering fixer. I always am like, let me help you. Like, let me. And now I'm just like, hands off. I'm like, I'm here if you need me, hands off. So I've been a very engaged, involved, but hands-off manager. And I just want people to have a good time and enjoy life. And the way that I manage the team is something that I've been practicing in my life in a one-on-one basis recently, which is just, letting people be who they are and loving them no matter what. And that's a skill that I've worked on and learned over the last, I don't know, maybe five years or so. And realizing that I can be an asset to people's lives by just simply being there, not having to do anything. And it's a skill that I've had to learn, and I didn't always have it. And I like that. I feel like I'm getting better at it. And my team had so much fun this season, and I'm excited to start the next season in a couple weeks.
Good. Yeah. If we're do this, do that, do this, we end up in do is something that I like to say. I appreciate my ability to practice what I teach. It's been my bonus mom crossed the bridge on Saturday night, and I got to hold her hand as she did that, returning back into love. And then yesterday was the 25th anniversary of my Chinese dad's crossing. So it's been, remembering people whole, not remembering them in the last minute or month or year of their illnesses, but remembering them, way past that in the fullness of the life that they have had. And all the things that I enjoyed and appreciated, and have just a plethora of memories with both these amazing individuals. And so most of the 88% of the time, I've been able to sit with my feelings, not apologize for crying, because tears are the disinfectant that keep your heart soft. Be there for my sisters and, others who will miss and do miss my bonus mom in her physical body, knowing that she is not gone, but she's just in another, forever form, as we all come from love and go back into love. So I appreciate my ability to practice what I teach 88% of the time. Now, saying that, like, people go, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty, man, not, I don't feel like I'm having stress or anything like that, except that I leave my keys in the outside of the door. Or, I keep missing exits when I'm driving, or, just like I forget to have my coffee, which has never happened in my life. And so obviously, I go easy on myself is what I'm going to try to do a little more of. So yeah. Yeah. All right, Pilar, close it out. What do you like about yourself?
I like that I get after it. Like if I want something, if I do,
No,
like I'm 100%.
really?
I'm all in, or I don't want it. Like it's all or nothing for me. And I mean, but I've always been like that. So, I mean, obviously acquire skills to get to said place. But like, if I really want something, I move heaven and earth to make it happen. I will do, and it's not just for me; it's for other people. So
Right.
I think that I'm grateful for having that fire inside me, so much so, and I love myself like all the way, so I can give it away. There's that, and I think that that's it's for me, it's an innate skill, but I focused it, so I'm really grateful to have it, because sometimes people need that, and I'm really the queen of that.
The queen of what?
I will go. I'm the queen of the fire. I'm like, let's go, let's get after it.
I don't know. That
I'm only
sounds
one
like
cup of
that
coffee
sounds like
into
a
it.
competition challenge right there. James, you're in the middle of this, right? So he knows both of us. So we'll have to get his reaction to that at the end of the show.
Yes, we're watching you.
Yes.
Hey, I want to take I want to capture a memeable moment that we just had. You got to love yourself all the way so that you can give it away. Pilar, that is so quotable, and I love that, because I don't know how you can make a real impact on the world if and the whole purpose of this exercise, and I used to hate it. Dr. Marissa made me do it. I'm like, I don't want to do this. It was like nails on a chalkboard, and because I'm like, I don't want to. But
every co-host says that.
If you don't love yourself all the way, then how can you, be the change you want to be? How can you make an impact on the world? So you got to love yourself all the way to give it away. I love that. I'm taking that. I'm stealing it. I'm going to use it.
You can have it. You can have it.
Well, my version of that is, if you can't approve of yourself, how the fork do you expect anyone else to approve of you? So that's why, and I've been teaching this course called Personal Mastery, which is, you can't have professional mastery if you still feel like the imposter, have fear of failure, fear of success, self-sabotage. So it's another business version of what you're saying. Yeah. If you aren't all in on you, how do you expect to be all in on the outside, right? Yeah. You can only fake it for so long. So yay. That was it for breakfast. Thank you for joining us today. Yeah. I will challenge all of you who are listening now or later to practice this 28 consecutive days with or without me, live in the morning at 9. That way you can make it a good life habit and a hashtag Blisscipline. Thanks for joining us for breakfast. And now for the topic of the day. It says everything is awesome, and I won it at Dave & Buster's. So, hey. What is the topic of the day, Pilar?
Well, we mulled it over, and we thought to ourselves, we're going to get out there. It's the beginning of the year, from what I've been told. A lot of what's going on or things that you could take advantage of are the use of, I don't know, technology. There are a lot of dating apps out there. There are a lot of different like places and ways to do this. And so we were going to talk about some of the best ones, or ones that we've used, or ones that we've heard about, and the best way to utilize them to your advantage, the best way to proceed. And then let's get to the part where we get to IRL. Crazy. In real life is a whole thing. So preemptively, we got to get to that place. So how do we do that? How do we use these apps? How do we take advantage of those opportunities? And how do we create relationships? And as we all know, everything is a relationship. So first with yourself, then with everyone else. So that's what we were going to talk about today. Take it away, James.
Yeah, that's very well said. You nailed it.
Swiper, no swiping.
Yeah.
All right. So are you on an app now?
Yes. The one that I consistently use that I actually have had really great results from has been Bumble. I really like that one. There's also the League, Raya. There are a few of the Matches one, they turned it into an app. I think that was one of the first ones that was really out sort of prolifically with, you know, the basic criteria, who you're into, what your interests are, etc. I personally liked using Bumble, and I'm not affiliated with them. I'm just telling you my personal opinion.
Yeah. What was the second one you said? Bumble.
Raya.
R-I-R-I.
R-A-Y-A.
Okay. And then another one?
The League is a good one. I think
League?
that's that one is for I'm gonna yeah, I wish. That'd be so cool. That'd be the best one. We'd have like a secret meeting place.
Yeah.
Not in Antarctica.
Bumble, Raya, the League.
Like the Illuminati.
Yeah, but much cooler. We'd have like croissant.
Hinge, I've heard of. I'm just making a whole list so that people can like say what they're using. What's another one?
Another good one.
Tinder.
I won't say anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got off of that, but I think it's good to talk about all of them in our experiences. So is there something on here that I haven't got? I've got Bumble, Raya, the League, Hinge, Tinder.
I think
that you're on.
Now,
I don't want to.
Now, as a gay man, I'll point out that my working theory, is that, you know, us gays have Grindr, which is thought of as a hookup site. So we use Tinder as actually a dating site. So I actually go on more dates through Tinder. But my experience, and I don't mean to be reductive, is that I think straight people use Tinder as their Grindr.
I was going to say Tinder is the straight people's Grindr.
Yeah.
It is. And no shame whatsoever, but it really is.
Well,
it really is.
I have to say I tried Tinder, and I didn't necessarily find that true because I had my daughter met her boyfriend of 3 years on Tinder, and for some it seems like well, I may be wrong on you know, you meet and you may have that desire for the hookup and then it turns into a relationship. I don't know. But look at her eyebrows go. But I tried it, and I'll tell you the reason why I got off of it was because it doesn't tell you what city they're in, only how many miles away they are from you. So I would love, like, I need to know how far away distance wise you are, but in the city. Like, what city are you in? Because, like, you know, there's 3 things in life I don't understand: vandalism, terrorism, and why people live in the valley. So I'm not going.
What are you saying? What are you saying to me? I'm a valley dweller.
I'm not
you
dating
make it look
you.
good.
I'm not dating you. So that's the explanation for that. So that, and they don't tell you what they do. So that's an extra if they don't volunteer it. So maybe it's validating your point, is that if you're there for a hookup, it really doesn't matter where you live or, what you do. It just matters how many miles away you are and how quickly you can get it over. I mean, that might be the reason. So anyways, okay. So these are the ones I have on the list. I'm going to put it up here right now so that I understand where we have tried or we have been on. So we have some experience in that. All right. So if you're tuning in, I see eyeballs rolling in and you want to get in on this experiential journey with us. Just put down what you've been on and, any thoughts or opinions on that. All right. Pilar.
Okay, so yeah, the reason I like Bumble was for the other reasons that you were talking about. People do have a blurb about what they do. They have a bio. Also, the good thing about Bumble is you can choose not just dating or the gender of the person you would like to date, and I've done both, just to be honest. You can also do it for social, which means you want to make friends. So that's a different setting on it. It will tell you how far away they are as well. So that's really cool. The other thing is, as a girl person, I like the fact that you have to mutually match. And then, like the Sadie Hawkins dance, the girl gets to say something first, which is cool because it eradicates just like spam of people liking you and there's no mutual likes, etc. The other thing I like about that app, and I think it's just for being smart about, dating online, etc., is that it has a phone app in it. So you don't have to give someone your phone number straight away so that you can talk to each other because talking is not texting. I firmly believe in it. You got to talk. And then you can plan something accordingly. So you can plan to go out on a date and you can talk about it. And if it goes great, you feel inclined to give someone your number. If you want to wait, you can wait. So that's one of the things I really, in terms of an app, I think is really helpful for everyone so that you feel comfortable. So that's really important to me.
Yeah. I like the video aspect of it because I can do a video chat. And I had one experience that made me say and swear that I will never, ever, ever meet anyone without doing a video chat first. And what's interesting is there are people who will not do it. They say, I don't want to do it, or I don't come across well on a video. I'd prefer to meet in person. And as horrible as this is going to sound, I have to feel something, right, in order to make the time to meet someone. So, it's like first is your profile, second is your ability to repartee on the messages, third is call, fourth is video chat, fifth is meeting in person. So that's my runway. And I don't know if you have had this. Sometimes like the plane doesn't even roll out.
Stays in a hangar.
It's hung up. It's hung up on, and I used to take this personally, but I realized, you're in cycles, right? Whether you're talking to someone or talking to 8 people or whatever, or you're going through, someone passing. And right now, the last thing I want to do is, go on a date, right? I don't have the time and I'm not in the emotional space of it. So that's not personal, but I see people so angry on their profiles. I don't want a texting buddy. I don't want, somebody not, even whatever. As soon as you are angry in your profile, like if you're going to get that buzzed and pissed offedness, and you haven't even met anyone, like, come on.
You. Yeah. You have to be in the right, let's just say you have to be in the right headspace and heart space, right? Like that's
which head?
The one that does the thinking, not the one that tries to do the thinking. Let's be honest. No, but really, you have to be in a space for yourself where you can receive something and you can actually hear people. Because we all know that, like, if you're not in a place to receive anything, you can't. Someone will be like speaking Martian. You can't hear them be like, "I'd love to go out to dinner with you." You're like, "I'm angry," so blah blah. It's like the lens that colors the whole situation. So again, before you even do any of this stuff, get in the right space with yourself. Do some self-care. Feel good about you. Then openly and have fun with this. Because I think the other extreme is so serious that you can't even receive just having a good time. You know, the pictures of people who never smile and like they're
Yeah, like
and they're all doing their like.
yeah, I mean, I don't mind the model face, like that's great, but please smile. Like show me that you went to Australia and you have a koala bear and you're like, hey buddy, let's have some coffee. You know, like just I always think I like to see the formal picture, the smiling picture, the adventure picture, and then something maybe with your family or with your friends, something like that. So it's like having a well-rounded visual experience.
Mhm.
You know, so when there isn't some emotive, it doesn't always have to be joy, but even if you're just goofing off, like knowing
But
that ahead of time someone can just let their hair down is really kind of nice, right?
yeah. But here's one thing. If you're gonna don't put the goofy picture first.
No, put the cool, your best
Right?
photo first. Put your
Right?
best foot forward. Put your
Yes.
best picture first.
Yes. And
That's
if you put the
huge.
same picture twice, and if you don't have good lighting,
It's LA. We
It's-
We're,
preemptively
yeah,
have
we're
No,
knowledge.
we're supposed to know this stuff.
Huh?
We're like,
yeah, I mean,
as
because I have
LA
a
people.
folder of
Yeah.
like do nots, right? Because I've been doing stand up, Pilar, and
You're like, I got a
wanted
list.
to try it. So
Yeah.
so one of my sketches is swipe or no swiping. So I've
Yes.
come up with a new system. It's called the SSBS, Successful Swiping Balance System.
Yes, thank you. Please tell the people. Tell them your message of hope. Please.
I don't know.
And good lighting. It's both. It always is. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sunny 90% of the time here. If you don't live in California, that's super okay. Just get a really, really good ring light. It is super helpful. And have friends who care about you and take like 100 pictures. That's what real friends do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what real friends
Like,
do.
you know, those ones that are standing in front and trying to do a selfie with the phone and, you know,
Up facing selfie, like it's all chin. You're like, help me help you. I know you understand.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Especially
Especially here.
I want to go back to 2 points that you guys made that are brilliant, if you allow me. One is like,
If you'll allow me. I know.
If you'll
This
allow
is
me.
like, it's like, why is James here? No, I'm
He's magical. That's why. He's the stuffing in the Oreo cookie. He's the good
I'm
stuff.
just here to make model faces.
But you're so good at it.
I know, right? He's hot.
My thing is going back to the people that like give you the whole list of like this, that, and the other. Like, I don't want it to be like I'm reading a contract with terms and conditions and disclaimers, because then I'm thinking like, if I actually meet you, how hard are you going to be judging me in person? If you're already judging me this hard, you know, just when I happen across your profile, it's like, whoa, you know, that's a big
Or your
one.
to-do list. I don't want to be part of anyone's to-do list. Come on.
No.
What do you mean? What's that?
To do like the terms and conditions. If you sign here, then it will be like this. Like, where's the fun in that? Like, honestly, I mean, we all are attracted to people. There's chemistry and stuff like that. You got to leave room for some magic. So if you're hell bent on your restrictions, then like, where's the part where people surprise you? I'm a huge fan of surprises, not scary surprises, but like, you know, just when people surprise you, or they have a really deft sense of humor, or like they really like butterfly. It can be anything. You can call it Coca-Cola. I don't care. But like when people really surprise you, that's where the magic is. That's the magic of any relationship. You're like, oh wow, we both like really geeky stuff. Like it's really nice. It's refreshing. Like standing out and being outstanding. You know?
Why do people want to put themselves and other people in a box where it's like, if you're gonna message me, make sure of this, that, and the other, and if you do this, you're blocked. Like,
okay.
Yeah, like no, thank you. I don't care how hot you are.
That makes
too
sense.
stringent. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
What have been the most positive experiences you've had on the app and the worst experiences?
I'm gonna let James go first. Go crazy.
Okay.
Yeah, let me think about that. For me, it's when you think you're talking to somebody that is sane, and then you realize that they're like total Looney Tunes. Like they're either like when they're messaging you, they're either like totally drunk or drugged out, or they tell you what they're into. And I don't like kink shame. All kinks are good. It's all fun. Like I love all of that. But if you put the cart before the horse and you're telling me, how freaky you want to be in the sheets before I know anything else about you, it's just kind of like, okay, good to know. Didn't ask that, like if I happen to be in that mood in that moment, sure. But 90% of the time, it's like, wow, okay. Why are you telling me all this right now?
Exactly. I don't know if she's getting a call or we lost her, but if you can
I just
hear.
had to remember to throw on Do Not Disturb so that I wouldn't black out if I got a call.
Oh, she did. She dropped off. So we'll wait for her to come back. But it's a good time to take a break. We are in the middle of the show, so we can take a station ID for news, weather, and traffic. But don't go away. We'll be right back in 2 and 2. Not Chuck Woolery's 2 minutes. We'll be back before that. It's peace in, peace out. Don't go away. We will be right back.
Well, she has been dubbed the Asian Oprah, and she just wants all of us to be happy.
Dr. Marissa, aka the Asian Oprah, says the most important thing you can choose is choosing to be happy.
You are tuned into my weekly talk radio TV show called Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa.
That's the idea for Dr. Marissa Pay's new book called 8 Ways to Be Happy.
Many of us say, I am my own worst critic. Nobody's harder on me than I am. And my response to that is, stop it! Why are you doing that to yourself? You have to be your biggest fan, because if you can't at the end of the day say, I did a good job, who is? We don't have to constantly be angry at the things that are wrong. Why don't we choose to be happy about things that are right? We have the choice. That's our muscle. And life is so amazing if we can see it.
Jump off that exhausting habit. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And we're back. You're tuned in to
back.
Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa. On KCAA, NBC News Radio, AM 1050, FM 106.5, home to the Asian Oprah, #1 talk in the IE. Thank you very much. And streaming everywhere, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and of course my YouTube TV channel, which houses all 1,338 podcast shows over the last 669 consecutive weeks. But who's counting? And this is a show about hope and happiness and a lot of fun things that will help you or hurt you when it comes to happiness. And swiping certainly is one of those areas. So glad to have you. It is our every other Friday co-host of my special series, Straight Talk with Dr. Marissa and
James Hawthorn.
And a special guest today,
Pilar Carrington.
welcome back. All right.
Oh, wow. We're having so much
Here
fun.
we go. Yes, we are talking about dating apps. We're talking about what to do and what not to do. And I still am waiting for the best case, worst case
Yes.
example. Because we keep getting
All that technical
sidetracked.
difficulty, right?
Yeah.
I gave you worst
Yeah,
case.
yeah.
Now I'm gonna
You
give you
gave
best
worst
case.
case,
Best
right?
case. Best case is really
Okay.
important. It was like 2 years ago, I think, or like 3 years ago. So I actually ended up meeting someone I dated for a while, and
Your chat.
What's a while?
oh, like 2
2
or 3
days?
years,
That's
almost
me.
almost like 3 years.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
it was awesome. But it was funny because I tend to use humor, if you haven't noticed. Crazy but true. I like to use humor if I message people, or just like keep it light. I think keeping it light really helps people relax, but also that's just kind of my nature. I'm just like lighthearted because, that's where you kind of like hear how people really are. And when people relax, they're much more open, right? So that's the whole thing. So we were kind of back and forth on the app for a bit, and then we called each other. Like you said, there's some steps involved because like you want to feel like, okay, I'm gonna meet someone that I feel like I connect with. So the pictures were great, and really there was some model face on there, James. I'm not gonna lie. It was like, hey. But I was like, that's fine, that's fine. So when we met in person, we did a day date. So it was at the pool, I'd say the Roosevelt. It was really super fun. We laughed the whole time. My rule usually is give it at least 90 minutes so you can actually like hang out, get to know someone, see if you're simpatico, that sort of thing. Like give people a chance, right?
Right.
We had so much fun at the pool. He actually pushed me in the pool. I was like, oh my God, like usually
That's
that's a
bold.
no-go
I
for
love
me.
that on
I
first
know.
date.
I was like, it was like usually for me, I'm like, oh no, like I'm all ready to whatever. But like, I brought my bathing suit. I was ready. Um, but it was one of those things where we just had such a great time. It turned into like 4 hours, and he took me to dinner, the whole thing. So it
Wow.
went really, really, really well. And we were very, we had a lot of things that were kind of similar or like parallel to each other, but it was more complementary, and it was really nice to have that. So it was really a really cool experience. And again, getting to the IRL is really important because in real life, that's where the cool stuff happens. That's where the adventure happens. That's where
Mm-hmm.
like real things happen.
Can I ask what ended it?
I think like everything in every relationship, when communication breaks down, that's when you have an issue. And I'm a big communication person. And I will say with a huge like underline, even if it's something I do not want to hear, even if it's something that's not good, I'd rather hear the truth so you have something to work with as
Yes.
opposed to just no information or avoiding information. Because sometimes the truth does hurt, and that's okay. That's something to work with. But when you have nothing to work with, then what are we doing? And it was generously breaking it off. But at the same time, I think it would have worked had the communication persisted, because you work through things. That's what relationships are with everyone, not just your romantic partner, but all your friends, your family, etc. So things don't get solved by avoiding it and not talking about it. Let's just say that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say that it was a successful 3-year chapter in your
Mhm.
book of romance.
Absolutely.
And that at that 3-year mark, there was no match, or there were things that were not matching more than that were matching.
Mhm.
So, yeah,
That's a good thing. That's a good
it's
thing.
a
I'm
really
also
good
a
thing.
proponent of that. Yeah. So
Now,
Yeah.
which app were you on, by the way? Let's give
that
the people
was
some hope.
Bumble. Bumble, I've been
Bumble.
most successful with dating or just seeing people. That's another thing we should talk about, because I think that I'm not going to peg the serial monogamous, but sometimes you should just date for fun. Okay. You should just go out and have a good time. And I think that helps break the ice for everyone, so they feel like I can get on the horse and, do this. You know what I mean? I think that's a fun
Yeah.
thing to do.
Yeah. But here's the thing. If you have an expectation that you can actually meet someone on an app and fall in love or lust, I mean, those are two different things, but that it's almost, I dated a guy who sent me a link to this guy who talked about the ridiculousness of the expectations that you're actually going to meet someone not necessarily on an app, even in IRL, and just immediately know that that's going to be a relationship, because the expectations are so unrealistic, and it takes time, and it takes effort, and all of this, and it's kind of like a Debbie Downer, to be honest, because we all grow up with Snow White, Cinderella, Jerry Maguire, someone to complete you. So that, I think the apps have made that expectation like almost worse in a
Well,
sense.
I think it's whatever you go into it with, your intention. If your intention is to enjoy yourself, have a good time, and you have to be in a positive frame of mind
Yes.
to receive someone in your life. You also have to be whole to receive someone in your life. So again, I always say this, before you even start doing this, dating, IRL, apps, IRL, whatever, you have to be happy with what's going on in your life. You have to be happy with yourself, your friend group, your hobbies, etc. And someone is complementary to your life. And it doesn't mean you have to do all the same things. I like people who are different than me. I think it's fun to learn something from someone else. That's just my personal thing.
Mhm.
But like, you have to be able to receive that, because your life is already going in a direction that you really like, and that person adds to it. And that's really, just start there. And then again, people will surprise you. People will bring things into your life that are
Mhm.
exciting and different than what you've been doing.
But
And,
90
it's good to have
minutes,
a positive
Pilar,
expectation right
90
now.
minutes
I'm
when there's
impressed by
no
90 minutes on that
chemistry.
first date, actually.
Oh,
But
So
if
if
I'll
it's
give it
no
no
30.
chemistry, you can politely
chemistry,
leave. You can
oh, okay.
politely leave. You can politely leave. That's the thing.
Yeah, because
Um,
I'm actually talking to a guy who I've never met a guy who has had this same idea as I have, which is don't even talk. Like, I mean, talk and establish the fact that they have the same sense of humor, so
yeah.
you don't have to explain if you have to explain your joke, run, right? But
Yes.
okay,
Okay.
so
That's
we're
fair.
to that point, and the pictures look good. We did a literal 10-second yes, you're real and you're alive and you're in the
Yes.
country video chat. And now he's like, let's just meet. Are you in for a 90-second kiss to see if there's chemistry? And I'm like, I had that idea
Ah.
years ago, because really you can even have an entire dinner with someone, and it feels like it's going well, and then you kiss and it's just like you get that ick, right? Like it felt like liver in my mouth, like it just so why don't you start with the chemistry test to see
Mm.
if there's that, if I kiss you, does my pilot light down there get turned on or
I
not?
mean, that's generous of you. I don't know. The gateway drug is the lips. I tend to be judicious about that. But I mean, my experience has been interesting because a lot I tend to, if I pick someone like this way, I tend to already, like, we have chemistry and I know that, so I kind of
Yes.
hold off romantically in that way, because I'm like, let's see how far this fire burns.
There you go.
I'm like, let's just let it burn for a
So,
See,
moment.
so
maybe
Pilar,
I'm
what
too
what
old.
what what,
Oh,
what
go
you're
ahead.
telling me, Pilar, is that you are a lover of anticipation.
Oh yeah.
Yes. I got to
That's
jump in
James
and
too. That's
I got to
James
jump
too.
in and say something.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes speaking of the kiss, like finding the chemistry, there have been some great dates I've been on where we have had sex before dinner. And
Damn. I
and,
mean, darn it.
and I have to tell you, that, especially men, we're disgusting. We're just horny all the damn time. And I darn time. Sorry, FCC. I'm gonna owe Marissa some FCC fine money after the show. What I what I
You
have
guys
to
are
say,
killing me.
okay, what I have to say about this is sometimes that the chemistry is there even before the in real life, and by getting that, and it's not something that you get out of the way, but by enjoying that first, then the dinner is just relaxing and fun because you both had that connection, and now you can really get to know each other without wondering in the back of your mind, are we, aren't we?
Look.
How's this night going to end? You've already done it, and then the dinner can be really enjoyable.
Cheers. As a member of also the queer community, I understand this whole like psychological thing that guys are doing. I am bisexual. I totally get it. You want to get but I think as a woman dating men, you can't do that because heterosexual men, I'm just painting with a broad brush here, devalue you and say, all right, I already did it, so I'm moving on to my next thing. So, and me and James were actually talking about this the other day when we were all together.
Yeah.
If you are perceived, I'm saying perceived as, because again, I'm a member of the queer community, I'm bisexual. If you're perceived as heterosexual, as a woman, there are codes of conduct that you still have to adhere to. I know it's totally antiquated and silly, but in order to build value in a relationship with a heterosexual man, you have to do the opposite. You really got to wait, because also you have to see their character, and you have to be, and again, this is antiquated, be perceived as someone who can not. And it's, I know it's totally ludicrous. We live in the 21st century. It seems ridiculous,
I agree
but
with you.
it's a code of conduct. Now, if I'm dating a woman, again, we know the jokes about women rushing into relationships with each other quickly and moving in within a month. It's kind of like you gotta pace yourself too, because
When
it's,
to
I
move
think,
in and when not to move in.
yeah, and also women, I think, as a woman who has dated women, being simpatico, because we're having kind of the same experience, it does precipitate doing something more quickly because you feel more comfortable pretty much instantaneously. Is that the smart thing to do? No. But what you can do is moderate your response so that you can really get someone's character and really see if it's going to work out. And trust me, I believe in recreation, but recreation is not always a relationship, and we know this.
Yeah.
I believe in recreation. Trust and
See,
believe.
now
That's why I'm dating right now.
Maybe
But
it's my
different.
generation, even though I'm hashtag ageless, I
Yes.
still am in that antiquity, because I don't feel comfortable just doing the friends, even friends with benefits. Like, I still don't quite understand that. I still don't quite understand, just going and having that before dinner. Like, just even having that without having some modicum of a connection that is going to be a relationship. I am in that, still stuck there. Now, I have one caveat and one exception to that was, and James knows about this. I didn't have a relationship. I didn't date. I didn't have sex for 7 years, 6 months, 5 weeks, 4 days, 3 hours, and 2 minutes.
Not even by accident?
Not even by accident.
My God.
Not even by accident. And because I, disillusioned from a bad marriage and a very expensive divorce that I paid for, that almost a few million. And the judge said, well, you wanted equal rights. Okay. So that was probably a good reason for me not to go out there. I did it, I do everything once, marriage, divorce. And then I, 2 beautiful girls, don't regret it. And I was very focused on, the best-selling book, the show, all this stuff. So I had this realization, and I was in Vegas speaking, that if I didn't have it right soon, I was going to go the rest of my life without it and become one of those silver-haired wearing turquoise, with a lot of cats. And I'm allergic to cats. So I actually,
so it's not an option.
I actually had the experience, when in Vegas, whatever. But that's the only exception. I still now, I'll be swiping and or I'll buy $2.99 to see who, and all these guys who are, like, don't live around here, and you assume that they liking you because they would like to have an experience of ships passing, in the middle of the night, or I'm traveling and I, find somebody. I still can't bring myself to do that, like on a first date.
Well, I mean, what happens in Monaco stays in Monaco, so not to worry. We'll never tell your secrets. I think, again, I'm a believer in recreation too, but I mean, I think me and James kind of also both grew up in an era of safe sex because that's really important. I think you really got to put that out there. That's a really big deal.
Yes.
That's huge. And also,
How
you have
huge?
I won't even say no. I won't.
She's
That's
setting you
another
up,
podcast.
Pilar. She's setting you up.
I know that was like T-ball. She was like, and I'm like, no. But also, I think you have to do also what's right for you. And I also encourage just women in general. You got to feel comfortable with the terms. You really have to feel comfortable. And I'm not talking about recreation. I'm saying in general. If someone makes you feel a certain way or not feel a certain way. And again, if you're not having fun in those 90 minutes, you can politely dismiss yourself. I'm here to advocate for people feeling comfortable, for feeling heard, for feeling like they're doing something that feels good to them and not for someone else, because I think also women get caught in that a lot. I don't believe in it. I don't do that, but I'm a different kind of person, and if you haven't noticed, I'm super vocal about this stuff. So I advocate for people saying what's on their mind. And also, honesty and disclosure are two different things. You can say something like, wow, I've had a great time. I have an early meeting tomorrow. You don't have to be like, wow, you're making me real uncomfortable and I'm just trying to find the exit. You don't have
Right.
to make it like that. But there's a way to feel comfortable about those things. Now, in terms of recreation, it's all communication. We know this. Be upfront. Please be safe. Please be comfortable. That's the most important thing. And if that's not for you, it's absolutely okay for that not to be for you.
I kind of want to try to be okay with it, but it's
If you're not, though,
You got to live your truth.
Yeah.
And I want to put a disclaimer on my sex before dinner story that I told. And this is for our whole audience. All three of us, none of us are experts. We are just real people sharing our truths. And as Dr. Marissa says, putting the moose on the table. That's her Canadian version of, there it is, there's the moose.
Hello.
That's her Canadian version of elephant in the room. And so I just gave you guys a little vulnerable moment of honesty and just saying that for me, that's something that I have personally enjoyed. But for everybody, the only advice I'll get from someone who does not know what they're talking about is you got to live your truth. And that is for all of life and not just for dating. And so for me, I have personally had good experiences by doing the sex before dinner thing, but that chemistry has to be there. It has to feel right. And then one more thing I wanted to say is, Pilar, I'm going to give you not disagree, but give you a counterpoint to when you said you got to put your best photos forward. My best experiences when going from the app to in real life have been when I see the person and I'm like, oh my God, they're so much hotter. I personally do not put my best photos up. I put medium photos up where I'm like, I have a collection of photos, right, that I put up. Some are me with like total bed head and my dog lying with me, like slobbering on me in my bed. And then my best photo is maybe me on like a 7 or 8 on a 1 to 10, because and it's not an ego validation thing. I like to show up where the other person goes, oh my God, you're so much hotter than your pictures. Because that makes the dinner, when I do dinner before sex, that makes the dinner so much better, because all of a sudden that chemistry that you talked about, Marissa, with the chemistry test has been cleared. That bar has been cleared. And so I strategically don't put my best looking photos up because I want the person to want to meet me for additional reasons besides how I look. So the other parts of the profile, the other parts of the bio, I want them to be excited to meet me in real life because of all the other stuff. And they say, yeah, he's pretty good looking. Let's give him a shot. And then I show up and they're like, oh, you're better looking than your photos. So that's just my personal strategy.
James,
but it's just a counterpoint.
Through and through. You're a 10 on the inside, which makes you a 10 on the outside.
Yeah, but I mean, come on. Your photos, I mean, you can't really have a bad photo, right?
Trust me, I do. And they're on my profile.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just not, I mean, I appreciate the sentiment, James. However,
so cute. I can't take it.
Yeah. All right. I knew this would happen. It's already end of show. So there's time for one final word from each one of us. 30-second. Ready? Go. Pilar.
Okay. I think the most important thing, it starts with you. And I think that you have to, you love yourself all the way, do all those things. Let someone compliment your life, be open to it, and have some fun out there, damn it.
Pilar. I'm going to have to edit that out again. That's at 54. You're killing me. You're going to owe me dinner.
I know.
And I will. Yeah.
That would be our pleasure.
It won't be sex before that dinner. Okay.
No, but it is a great policy. Hey, let's go for it.
Believe it or not, audience, we actually hang out together outside of this show. So taking you out to dinner, Dr. Marissa, would be a blast. So we would love to do that. I think I already said my final word with you have to live your truth and do what works for you. And to piggyback on what Pilar said, have some fun out there, folks. It's about having fun and it shouldn't be stressful. And if you get the ick when you're swiping, no matter how hot they are, if there's stuff in their profile that they've written in text, that gives you an insight into what's going on inside their brain. And a lot of chemistry lives with the intellectual connection too. And if you get the ick from reading what they wrote, I don't care how hot they are, swipe, move on to the next. The nice thing about apps is it lets you have exposure to so many people in such a short amount of time. The last thing I'll say is don't treat the apps like Instagram, where it's just your entertainment and you just click story. Use it to enrich your life, because if you go into it with the right intention, you can, make your life joyous, wonderful. So go into it with the right intention. And that goes back to, it starts with you. Like, get yourself right and then enjoy these apps because they can provide meaningful connections. I know so many people that have gotten married from them, and you never know which app it's going to happen on. Even on Grindr, I know people that have met thinking it was going to be a hookup, sex before dinner, and then the next thing you know, I'm getting invited to their wedding 3 years later. You never know.
That's awesome.
All right, my final word is, it's clear that I am out of my league today, that I have completely, but, I still am looking for someone to swipe me off my feet. And that I, even though every day I hit that thing that says you need to adjust your filters because there's no one else that matches that you don't adjust your filters. You keep what you want high. Don't compromise. If you want a dog, don't buy a cat. That's from my friend and guest, Don Miguel Ruiz. So thank you to both of you for making an extremely editable show. Thank you very much. But very, very fun. If you would stick your fingers up for me right now, I do this at the end of every show. It's all about balance. Peace in, peace out. World peace through inner peace. Now go and have the best weekend ever. I'll see you on Monday.
Take back your life.